Hey folks, it's Mira Dessy, the ingredient guru, and I am here to share another prepared pantry tip with you. This is one that I'm hearing a lot more people talking about as we are more ensconced at home and more people are learning how to cook at home. That means they're also learning how to bake at home. So they're making more treats, cakes and cookies and things like that. Part of the challenge is with more people at home, one of the things I'm also hearing is that a lot of people are finding that there's less flour on the grocery store shelves, and or perhaps the only flour that's left is the denser flour like whole wheat and perhaps rye or some of the other flours. And so they're trying to figure out how they can make something delicious for a little sweet treat for their family. So I wanted to share some ideas with you about flourless baking, things that you could do at home that do not require flour, but that still have a delicious result. And I'll be sharing recipes down below in the comments section, so you'll be able to grab those recipes and check all of that out when we're done. So one of the first things that I wanted to share is that at certain times of year, it's Easter, it's Passover, whatever. One of the things that is available in the grocery store is a cookie called a macaroon. I happen to love them. I think they're delicious. And macaroons are actually made with coconut. They're not made with flour, and they're a delicious moist cookie. They tend to be made with also evaporated milk, so they've got a nice dense sort of consistency to them, making them a good chewy cookie. So that's definitely a good option. The good news is there are some very simple 3-ingredient recipes out there, so that makes it very easy for you to be able to do this at home. Another option is to simply do a flourless cake. I don't know if you've seen these in the restaurant. They've become rather popular lately. These tend to be made with a nut flour, most commonly with almond flour, but they can also be made with a walnut or a hazelnut flour. And it is, again, a nice, dense, rich, and in this case, chocolatey cake that is very delicious. And trust me, nobody is going to miss the flour in that recipe. These are just so good. Another really good, if we're looking for chocolate here, another really good option is a brownie that's made with black beans instead of with flour. And I know that sounds really strange, but I'm going to tell you that every time I make these brownies and take them somewhere, if I'm going to a potluck or something else, it's one of my favorite things to bring. They have great consistency, fabulous flavor, and invariably someone asks me what kind of brownies these are because they're so fudgy. And I tell them that they're made with black beans, and they go, "Really? I'm eating beans?" And the answer is, yes, you are. So that's really wonderful. And they're easy to make. And I promise you, it doesn't stop anybody from wanting a second brownie once they know what's in them. Another option is to consider making cookies, and it is possible to make cookies without flour. My favorite is a 3-ingredient nut butter cookie. And so essentially you're just putting the ingredients together. It's the nut flour, an egg, and some sugar. And then you mix it up and turn it into a dough. I do find it's better if you put it in the refrigerator first. It gets a little bit firmer, a little bit denser. And then you scoop it out and use a fork to press it into a cookie shape. And then you are good to go. Bake it, and you have a really delicious nut butter cookie. When it comes to cookies, there's actually another thing. I don't know about you, but I know I like to eat cookie dough. It's one of my favorite things if I'm looking for just a little bit of a sweet treat. Unfortunately, these days, cookie dough is not such a great option anymore. Unless you know exactly where your eggs are coming from and that your eggs are safe, eating cookie dough just is not recommended. So I was playing around in the kitchen one day and had some ideas and started throwing things together, and eventually came up with what I call my no flour cookie dough. I'm not going to tell you what's in it. It's a secret. You got to get the recipe to check it out. But I promise you, you'll be surprised and you'll be delighted because it really is delicious. So that certainly is a good one. And when I make that one, I do tend to make it with chocolate chips in it, just a little bit of an extra treat, but it's certainly delicious. We have two more to go. One is a polenta cake. Polenta is actually, most people are used to thinking of polenta as a savory. It's something that you use under a dish like a ragu, or in some sort of a breakfast dish or something like that. But it turns out you can actually use polenta to make a cake. So I've shared a link to a very delicious lemon polenta cake that you are going to absolutely love. It's really very flavorful and a wonderful addition to a meal. You won't miss the flour at all. And then the last idea is to consider making something that is frequently referred to as paleo pancakes. And these are pancakes that are made with banana and eggs and a little bit of vanilla. And you simply blend it all up together, and then you can pour it out to make pancakes with it. One of the things that I discovered is that if I pour it out just a little bit thinner in the pan, it actually makes almost a crepe-like size and thinness. And then you can fill it with jam or with chopped fruit, roll it up, and then you have these little dessert rolls, which are really delicious. And you can top them with a little whipped cream. You can drizzle a little honey on them. Another thing that I've done with them is to put a little bit of nut butter down and then some chopped fruit or jam on top. And that way you're making like a nut butter roll up, which is also really delicious. But those are really great as an addition to a meal, and also a great way if you make a large batch of the batter to have something else to do with them instead of massive amounts of pancakes. So those are just 7 easy ideas for you to be able to make a sweet treat in your home if you're not able to find flour at the grocery store, or if you want to conserve your flour to use it for something else. Part of having a prepared pantry is knowing how to make things multiple ways, or how to utilize and manage what you have in your home. So this is just, another way to be able to properly utilize your pantry. If you have any questions, or you have any ideas for other videos that you'd like to see, any questions about things that you want to learn how to manage in your pantry, please feel free to leave me a comment down below, and I'm happy to get back to you. Please also feel free to share this video with friends so that they can learn how to also have a prepared pantry. Thanks, folks, for joining me, and have a great day. Bye.